Hello. So, real quick update. Some time has passed. We had a appointment scheduled to have rooms in our apartment painted, but they had to cancel that appointment with us and reschedule. So we just now got a new date for them to come over and paint the rooms. So all this time I was kind of sitting and waiting for that to happen first before moving everything around. It kind of set everything back, but now that we do have a date on the calendar, I can start preparing and moving things out of the room so that they have the space to sort of paint over everything. So I'm gonna do a quick voiceover for this part of the video because I wanted to show you guys what these light batons were that I mentioned in the previous video. There's two different settings on the actual wand where you can either have the light be continuous or turn on the motion sensor. The idea is that you would have these laying around your house, so if you're like walking around in the middle of the night, they would turn on and you can see instead of using the big light. They were also hand designed, so the wood grain varied from each other. Basically, the actual holder of the baton had like this adhesive on the back that was extremely sticky, and there was literally no way of taking these off the wall without damaging it. I had to pry these off with my trusty hammer, and even then I was really doing damage to the actual paint on the wall. So I knew that I would need to have everything painted over, especially since we haven't had a paint job in quite some time. It wouldn't make sense to just try to paint over where the holder was actually doing damage. I had to do it all over the whole entire room. So I knew that I definitely wanted these removed to have a clean slate, especially since I would be pushing my bed over. It wouldn't make sense to try to keep them because they wouldn't be framing on either side of the bed. After that, pretty much everything in the room had to get moved out, and this process was a little tedious, but obviously it had to get done. I tried to keep everything as organized as possible so I could just drag it back in. And of course, I had to be very careful with my camera collection. I think one day I'll do a video going over my cameras because I do have a lot, and most of them you see here are all film. I would love to show you what I currently have in my collection. I'll definitely do a video on that sometime in the future. Thing I wanted to mention was if you're moving really heavy furniture and are worried about scratching the floor or even damaging the bottom part of the furniture, one thing that you can do to move them, especially if you're doing this on your own, is to use like a towel or a moving blanket. But since I didn't have either one that was big enough to move my bookshelf, I honestly just put some old socks at the ends and it actually worked out perfectly. So instead of trying to pick it up or shift it over one movement at a time, the socks worked out great and I was able to just drag it out of there. This is basically what's left in the room that wouldn't fit in the living room, so they'll have enough space to paint around. I finally have a day off. It's been a while since my last day off, and I came out to basically just dilly-dally. I love doing this, especially when the weather's nice, but basically I don't really have any concrete plans for the day. I'm just gonna like walk around, explore this neighborhood. I love moments like this because there's just like no expectations for the day, and you never know what you can run into or what you can find. So yeah, I'm gonna do that now, and let's see what we can get up to. I would love to try to find like a thrift store or a furniture store around here, but I looked it up on Google Maps and didn't really see much. So I'll need to probably plan out a day where I specifically go to some of these vintage and thrift stores to find pieces for the room. But right now, I think literally no expectations, just gonna walk around, enjoy the weather, and basically go home. I highly encourage you to dilly-dally as much as you can, if you can. So I've come to one of my favorite spots in Jersey City, which is the Pier. I love this spot because you get like a clear view of the financial district in New York City. And today is just like absolutely perfect. Like the weather's perfect. People are out, they're enjoying themselves, they're with their kids, they're with their dogs. It's just like one of those days where you really appreciate the extra time that you have to just sort of enjoy the weather and relax, honestly. It's just so incredible looking at the building. During sunset in this area is really nice as well because the sun sets on this side of the Hudson, so the golden light sort of shines on the buildings in New York. So you get this really pretty golden light that's shining off of these buildings, and then as it starts to get darker, you see the lights inside the buildings shine up. So the whole like city that never sleeps, you can kind of see it very clearly on this side of the river. I think I'll stay here for a couple more minutes before walking around a little bit more and then heading home. There's a spot that's a little bit further down where you can clearly see the Statue of Liberty, but I think I'll do that another day and show you guys what that looks like. But yeah, thanks for coming on this cute little dilly-dally with me. I know I didn't really do much, but for the most part, it was just about being outside and enjoying the weather. So they're finally done painting. It looks pretty good in here. It kind of feels like when we first moved into the apartment and everything was shiny and new. So this is going to be sort of like the jumping off point now of getting everything back to where it belongs and setting up the space in a new and different layout. I still have a couple of things to buy, like a new curtain system, a rug, and I'm looking to replace the desk that I currently have. But just seeing the possibility now with the space completely empty makes it that much better for me to sort of figure out the ideas that I have off of my mood board. So now I want to have a bit more fun with it, do things a little bit more intentional. So the curtain is definitely like top of my list to purchase as soon as possible, because the window's right here. I might have to figure out a situation to cover this in the meantime while it's getting delivered. The desk, I know that that is gonna be a bigger lift, and I definitely want to try my best to get that secondhand through Facebook Marketplace. So that's just gonna be like days of just research and seeing what I can find and what can fit. I think this was like months in the making, but I'm just glad that it's done and I can start doing the things that I really wanna do in here.